Take a guess.
New York Jets. No, you know, I am going to say the New York Giants.
Oh.
And if it's right, it's a huge assist. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Listen.
Huge assist, but I'm going to take the credit.
Yeah, you take all the credit, but Macurs Spears totally told you that. No, you can't take credit for it.
My expense.
Okay. Anyway, Lewis, Marcus, Rex, and Bobby. And guys, there are so many stats ahead of this Super Bowl. It's what tells you it really is a great matchup. But Himbo has brought these to our attention, and we narrowed it down to 5 that we think are the best, and we want to tell you guys about them at home. So let's begin. Let me get my pipers ready here. The first Super Bowl matchup between tight ends who had 1,000 receiving yards in the regular season is what we'll see. George Kittle holds the NFL single-season tight end record, 4 yards in a season, breaking the record in 2018. And then Travis Kelce had broken that an hour earlier. So Travis Kelce and Kittle rank 1 and 2 among tight ends in yards since the start of the last season. It's incredible. Bobby, you have your eye on one of these players especially.
It's going to be on George Kittle, and it's the matchup he's going to have with the best player in the defensive backfield for the Chiefs, Tyrann Mathieu. You watch him motion across there. Kyle Shanahan doing some favors, getting him on the move. He's going to run a drag. He's covered man-to-man by the strong safety. But here's what they're going to do. Play action in the face. So good at the run game. Safety's eyes in the backfield, watching the run, not watching his man-to-man coverage against the first team All-Pro. Boots out, easy throw. George Kittle catches it, uses some of that speed, some of that strength, picks up some more yards. Now we're going to look at Tyrann Mathieu, how good he is. So talented here, locked in man-to-man coverage against the Tennessee Titans on a drag route. Another team that's really good at running the football. But Tyrann Mathieu is disciplined. He's a playmaker, but also doesn't look at the play action, continues to have the eye control, locks on the tight end, and then uses the speed to close it down. My only concern with Tyrann Mathieu is the size discrepancy. Can he finish at the point when the ball is in the air, given the difference in size? But that, to me, is the biggest matchup in this game.
Okay, this is our next stat that we love. Patrick Mahomes is so good, so young, that we have to compare him to athletes in other sports to contextualize his greatness. You see it here. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the last NBA player to win an MVP and a championship before turning 25. Willie Mays, at age 23, won the MVP and led the 1954 Giants to a World Series title. And then Wayne Gretzky won his first Hart Memorial Trophy at age 19, won a pair of Stanley Cups before 25. So you see these names that Patrick Mahomes is in, and when we look at
would that put him in?
Hey. Let's focus on this, though. Is it fair, Marcus, to put Mahomes on that list if he wins the Super Bowl?
Yes, it's fair to put him on the list. Look, there's 2 parts to recency bias, right? We can get excited because we've never seen something before, or we can go back in history and trust what history is telling us. History is telling us with Pat Mahomes, he's doing things we haven't seen before. That's the bottom line. Like, I'm legit looking at Pat Mahomes play football, and to your point, Lou, about what Andy Reid says, I have never seen this before. Yeah. That's the place I'm coming from.
It's pretty exciting. Okay, our stats continue here. Jimmy Garoppolo and Patrick Mahomes own the 2 best quarterback records among those to debut in the Super Bowl era. You've probably heard of all those 5 players below on that list. So, Rex, these quarterbacks win differently, but they both win.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Here's the thing that nobody talks about. Everybody talks about this Kansas City offense, and they're amazing. They're explosive. I mean, all that's true. The 49ers outscored the Kansas City Chiefs offense. So they put up more points. You're right. It's done differently. They do it on the ground game. They do it off play action and moving the pocket with Garoppolo. So it's going to be, it's 2 totally different fights. One's a counter puncher. One is a knockout artist. So we'll find out who has the edge.
Okay.
Come Sunday.
We will. Next stat. Mahomes will be 24 years, 138 days old on the day of Super Bowl 54. So according to the Elias Sports Bureau, he would be the youngest player in NFL history at the time of having both an MVP and Super Bowl ring. That mark currently belongs to Emmitt Smith. Lewis, how many miles is this Ferrari going to take you?
Well, look, I'll tell you, he's going to take them look, right now, already ownership has said, Clark Hunt has said, this is someone he wants right now. He's just going to put it out there. I want him to retire as a Kansas City Chief. And Pat will retire as a Kansas City Chief because Brett Veach, the GM there, is a young general manager who's going to be there a long, long time. As a matter of fact, he should have been, in consideration for Executive of the Year. Andy's going to coach until they absolutely have to tell him you're not allowed to come on the sideline anymore because he's a football lifer. He's just one of those guys who right now also understands I'm in the moment. I'm going to recognize that I have a truly transcendent individual right now that I'm charged with going ahead and molding. I'm not going anywhere.
Here's our last stat, guys, of these great stats here. According to Elias, Andy Reid could match Larry Brown for the most seasons coached before winning a title in major sports history at 21 seasons. The current NFL mark belongs to Bill Cowher, who won Super Bowl in his 14th season. So, Lewis, you know Andy Reid well. What would a win for him in this game mean for his legacy?
Yeah, for all of us, as far as when we're assessing his legacy, without a doubt, it was cemented. He's already a Hall of Fame coach. This would just say, hey, look, we'll just see you in Canton in a couple of years, okay? But I think for him, he's one of those guys who he's so even keel and he's so humble and he's so self-deprecating that he would never tell you that it means the world to him, but there's no question that he does. Because, look, I'll tell you this, when I worked for him and worked with him, I never beat him to the facility. I never stayed longer. No one ever did. When you arrived in the morning, his car was there. His Lincoln Navigator was sitting there. And when you left, it was there. He has sacrificed. Look, the late, great Kobe Bryant said this as far as greatness, okay? It requires a tremendous sacrifice on the part of your family members. It requires a tremendous sacrifice on the part of you. You will have to give up things that many people don't want to give up. Andy has given those up. He's given them up his entire life. So I think he knows that. Everyone else knows that. And I think that's why everybody wants to see him win this football game.
And here's part of it. I think Andy Reid truly understands the gravity of this situation, how tough it is to get here. You saw him all those years in Philly, get to the championship, get to the NFC championship. He finally gets T.O. They get to the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden people think, hey, they've got this great offense. They finally have the dynamic weapon that they need. 2 years later, he's playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and they never make it back to that point. Like, it is fleeting. Things can happen in football. As good as their roster is, you have no idea. Injuries, guys get in trouble. Things always change, and he has an unbelievable opportunity. And like to Lewis's point, he's put so much time in. He is not going to let this thing pass him by.
Look, and I think we could all agree that he's beloved. And Rex, from the coaching standpoint, though, do you trust him from a clock management standpoint in the second half? I hate that that's attached to him, but it is.
Well, it is.
How do you look at it?
Him, but, well, when I look at it, yeah, is there one weakness that that he's carried throughout his career? It would be clock management. But you know what? He's got Pat Mahomes now. And if he has the ball late in the game with Pat Mahomes, there's no way I'm betting against him. And with Andy Reid, you know what? We're going to see what it means to him when he does finally win that thing, and all that emotion's going to pour out of him, because I know every competitor knows that unless you get the ultimate prize, you come up short, it kills you, it eats you inside.
Yeah. Listen, we talking about the Super Bowl, obviously his legacy. What Andy Reid has shown me throughout this playoff is enough. Like, this team has been down by 20 twice.
Yeah.
And his team did not flinch. And it's because a lot of what you're saying, Lou, with 15, obviously, but a lot of that has to do with Andy Reid and the thought process that these players have when they are in those adverse situations. What did we talk about the week before the Titans? Well, look, Derrick Henry running for 200 yards. We expect him to do the same things against the Chiefs. They stoned him for 70 yards. Got a lot to do with Andy Reid. Obviously, Spags as well on the other side. We look at Houston jump out to a lead, and everybody is like, what in the world is happening? Andy Reid got his play sheet, him and this guy on the sideline, and he like, yo, let's dial it up. Let's get some points put on the board. It's a different animal, man, but he's proven a lot throughout this playoff.
All right, we will get back to the Super Bowl more on this show, but we are going to get back to the story that has been dominating the headlines, just the unfortunate, terrible passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi, as well as 7 other victims of a helicopter crash a few days ago. And we go to Staples Center, where on Wednesday, fans continued to mourn this loss of Kobe and Gigi, as well as the 7 other victims. Meanwhile, the Lakers held their first practice since the accident. Frank Vogel and Kyrie Irving among those in the NBA to speak on Wednesday. They're doing their best to carry on in Kobe's honor.
We want to represent what Kobe was about, more than anything. We've always wanted to make him proud, and that's not going to be any different here.
it's just hard to even just conjure up the words. You know, you try to find clear-cut message that you would send to Gigi and Kobe and everybody that lost their lives in such a tragedy like that. It's hard, you know, it's hard, but I think the most beautiful thing is that it's connecting all of us, and his seeds that he's planted in all of us can continue to grow, and his legacy is going to live on forever, obviously. I'm just going to continue to carry the torch.
Meanwhile, Vanessa Bryant made her first public comment since the tragedy, thanking the millions of fans for their support in an Instagram post that read in part, "There aren't enough words to describe our pain right now. I take comfort knowing that Kobe and Gigi both knew that they were loved so deeply. We were so incredibly blessed to have them in our lives. I wish they were here with us forever. They were our beautiful blessings taken from us too soon." More to come on the Super Bowl from Miami.